Hey y'all, this is Conrad Layn here. Welcome to Layn Turo Quick Tips. I received a great comment from a YouTube viewer named Norman S. I'm gonna give him a shout out. They asked a phenomenal question that I think is really important. They're asking, I'm just gonna paraphrase what they're stating. They're basically asking if their Turo guest is rear-ended by someone, will that person that rear-ended their Turo guest insurance pay for the damage? That's a great question. It could be a bit confusing, a bit conflicting. I've been insurance licensed for over 9 years. I'm also real estate licensed. I have quite a bit of experience just in general. But again, I'm not your insurance agent. I'm not your insurance broker. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not your business consultant. I'm nothing to you except your friend on YouTube. Always fact check me, fact check anyone on YouTube. We're not perfect. And there's some people that don't tell the truth. So always do your research and always fact check anything I say. I actually highly recommend that. Make sure I'm telling the truth, which I am. And again, I'm not perfect, but from my experience and expertise and also my perspective, I'll give you my opinion, but always fact check. That's a mouthful. Anyways, now let's get right into it. So typically speaking, how insurance is supposed to work, if someone rear ends someone, typically that insurance provider, if they have insurance, is supposed to, in theory, take care of, say, for example, if you have a Turo guest and your Turo guest is rear ended, then typically speaking, that would be the other person's fault, typically speaking. But again, I don't know the situation, or I'm just giving it a hypothetical, and it's for you to verify. But I'm just sharing what the general rule of thumb is. So if car A hits car B, who's a Turo guest, typically that person's insurance will take care of it. Now, as a Turo owner, a Turo host, it could be confusing because at this point you're not sure. Do you file a claim? And if you file a claim, you might have to pay a $500 deductible. You might have to pay a $250 deductible. You might have to pay some type of money out of pocket. And you might say, "Whoa, it's this person's fault. Why do I have to pay?" There's a few different solutions, and I left a video below that goes in deep detail. On another video, I'll go over independent claim process. And this video is really to address a few different options, but independent is one of them. So the first way to actually, if you're a Turo owner, is to figure out first and foremost if it was the other party's fault. Like say someone else ran into your Turo guest. What I would strongly recommend at this time, first check on your Turo guests, make sure they're okay. First be considerate, treat them with love and care, make sure they're okay. They had a rough time, especially if they're rear-ended. More than likely it's probably not their fault, but again, I don't know the situation, but you want to check, make sure they're okay, make sure they're not injured. Once you get past that point, I would highly recommend and encourage and ask your Turo guests if they got the other person's insurance information. If they have it, this might be a good idea for your Turo guests to get the insurance information. That way, you get that information, they give it to you, and you can call their insurance company and report it. If your Turo guest already hasn't done that, or even if they do it, you want to go back behind them and you can give this information to Turo, so Turo can also contact them. So that way, more than likely, you can contact your Turo rep and say, "Hey, look, I don't want to use my insurance because, hey, I don't want to pay a deductible." Unless you have a $0 deductible, then I guess it doesn't really matter. But you might still not want to use your $0 deductible if you have a Turo 60 plan, for example. And even if you don't have a Turo 60 plan, you just might not want to go through the whole process or pay money out of pocket. So this is a time for you to say, I would rather the other person's insurance pay for this whole situation so that you don't have to pay a deductible and your Turo guest doesn't have to pay a deductible, because remember, either their own insurance is covering the rental at the time of accident or they have a Turo plan. So this helps them. So it's two birds at one stone. You're not going to have to pay a deductible and your Turo guest doesn't have to pay a deductible as long as this person has insurance. Now, the problem is if they have a lapse of coverage, maybe they have an expired insurance, maybe they're driving with no insurance, maybe their insurance just completely denies it, or it ends up being, for whatever reason, it's your Turo guest's fault, whatever the case is. Then the second option is your Turo guest can actually file a claim. And at this point, more than likely, you're going to have to also pay a deductible if you have a deductible and file a claim to yours. That's just kind of how it works. But contact Turo to get the facts of the situation. So that's a problem. That means if it was either your Turo guest's fault, or even if it wasn't their fault, but say the other party didn't have insurance, that means unfortunately insurance steps in to take care of your Turo guest and you, and then that means they're more than likely, unless you have a Turo 60, you have to pay a deductible. That could be pretty heart wrenching, especially knowing it's someone else's fault. But that's where insurance steps in still, but you still have to pay a deductible, which could really suck. I understand. So a way to get around this is that I left a video below, goes to independent claim. If it ends up being your Turo guest, your Turo guest's fault, this is a time you can use the independent claim process strategy where you can actually notify them, "Hey, look, I know it's your fault, or it's been deemed your fault for whatever reason. How about going through independent so that we don't have to pay a deductible? And instead, you and I can maybe find a body shop or someone that repairs the car for cheaper. And then that way it could actually save you paying a deductible. And then if that makes sense financially, because what if they have, let's say they have a $5,000 deductible with their own insurance company, or a $3,000 deductible, or a $2,000 deductible, or say they have a really high deductible with a Turo insurance plan. Because remember, either they're using their own insurance or they're using their actual Turo insurance plan or their own personal Turo, their own car insurance. They might have high deductibles. And if you can get the car repaired for less than, say that bumper costs $700, but say the deductible's $1,000, it might be cheaper to go independent, so that way they save $300. And the cool thing about this, if you go independent, you pay no deductible. They just pay you, and this is the one way, so it's not a gray market transaction. Do not accept money from the Turo guest unless you file for independent claim and get it documented, notify Turo. That way you can actually accept the money, so it's not a gray market transaction. If you're paid money and someone gives you money for something and you didn't report it to Turo and you're not authorized, that's a gray market transaction. You can actually lose your account and you can be kicked off the platform or be fined or even risk being covered. Don't do it. Always fact check with Turo. Let them know, hey, this person, we're planning to go independent. They want to pay for that. Say, for example, that bumper costs $700. They're going to pay that so that they don't have to pay $1,500 deductible or $1,000 deductible that costs more. So that's where you can really help your guests in a situation if the person who hit them doesn't have insurance and they have to pay a deductible, even though it's not their fault. That could really be terrible. Or if it ends up being your guest's fault and it's some type of situation, then that's another way you can help them out where they pay less as long as it's less than their actual deductible. And that also saves anybody from having to pay your deductible, because if they have to pay their deductible, usually you have to pay your deductible too. But always check with Turo. That's what you do. Great question, Norman S. Hopefully that helps. Follow the video below. It goes into the process. It's a really quick video. It goes in detail about independent claims. I do wish you the best. Sorry that you had to go through this. Accidents are never fun. The only thing I can say is I do wish you the best. Try to do your best to contact Turo, notify Turo, get the information from Turo guests. If they have the other person's driver license, the other person's insurance information, and contact their insurance company, give that information to Turo so that you can also get help with getting that paid without you paying a deductible and without your guests paying a deductible, hopefully. Love you guys. Like, subscribe, share. Great question. Follow the channel, subscribe to the channel, share this channel, leave any comments or questions below, and feel free to follow me on Instagram, Conrad Layn. Peace out. Peace.